How much money have you made in the last 30 days?
A little under 350K last month.
Jesus Christ, bro. And so that's total revenue from the agency.
That's revenue from the agency, yeah. Some splits, but that's revenue from the agency.
Okay. How the fuck did you get to this point?
Bro, a lot of grinding, you know what I'm saying? Me and Ben Bader, me and Narsalab, but yeah, bro, having the right clients, obviously we're gonna talk about it, but we hit a really big lake this month, bro.
Yeah.
With one client, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into like the specifics of that launch in a bit.
Yeah.
But for everybody watching, just kind of break down the structure of your agency right now, the types of clients that you're working with, and then what your fulfillment looks like for them, like what you're doing with them.
Yeah, so we run a growth partner business, obviously. This business has kind of grown in popularity over the last 6 months and whatnot. I started this about 1.5 years ago personally, and we kind of do more than everyone else does. So we do a lot of direct response content, meaning stuff that drives sales. We're not specifically like a content agency or like a sales agency, but we also build sales infrastructures. The reason I did that is because 1.5 years ago, I realized that if we can just handle all of the fulfillment, we can make a shit ton of money, and that's actually what happened. So when we take clients and whatnot, and we take big clients, they have no problem giving us like 35 to 40%, mostly 35%. And when you make a client $1 million in 1 month, that comes up to a lot of money essentially. So a lot of people are going to see that invoice. That's actually where it came from. There's a lot of people that might make their clients a lot of money, but they don't even come up with a lot of money at the end of it because they have such small splits. So
Yep.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So you joined Artisan Lab 6 or 7 months ago. I think you're around 10K a month.
Yeah, I was your easiest client ever.
And then, yeah, you closed in the DMs, right?
Oh, yeah, didn't even need a sales call.
3 months ago when we did the student interview,
Yeah.
the initial student interview, you were
Yeah.
at 30, 40K a month?
Yeah, like 40.
Maybe close
Yeah,
to 50?
Yeah, it wasn't even consistent either.
And, okay.
Yeah.
And now you're 6 figures a month.
Yeah, we're up, bro. We're definitely up.
So what's the biggest, I know you started in the real estate lead gen space.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't have to go through that whole story because you covered it on the first interview. But started there working with low ticket retainer clients, or I guess like few $1,000s a month retainer clients. And then you get into info, that gets you to consistent 5-figure months. And then you start climbing to 50, and now reaching 6-figure months. Like, what's been the biggest shift for you that's helped you go from that like 10 to 50K range to past 100?
Yeah, bro, it's honestly just like endurance. When this business was gaining popularity, like 1.5 years ago, when all the people were jumping on it and whatnot, I knew, like, I don't know how I knew, but I just knew like 6 months later, there was gonna be so many people that jumped ship and whatnot. So I kind of started thinking with a long-term vision. I was telling some people, I told you this yesterday, like I had so much pain when I failed that first business, bro, that I knew like, okay, I'm gonna go into this one thing and I just wanna become a millionaire. So like, looking at people like you and looking at other people making a lot of money in this space made me really mad because you struggle for a little bit. But in this business, when you have a big opportunity value, when you have a lot of it, you can go from 0 to 50K in like 1 single month. So I had a couple of bad clients. There was a couple of clients that I had to grind to get my first big client that made like us 50K, and then it kind of like shot off. And then I basically just turned all of our clients into lead generation systems in and of itself. I started offering really good referral fees, and I started networking with a lot of people. So basically, long story short, a lot of people know me for like doing crazy things, like going fucking living in Marbella for a month and stuff like that, and going and traveling to clients. I did stuff like that to gain leverage because I wanted to make a lot of money, and I kind of just calculated it. So I knew if we were going to make Q, which we'll go into, $1 million a month, I knew how much money we were going to make.
Yeah.
So I kind of just worked backwards from that. So bro, long story short, like I literally just stayed in the game. You know what I mean?
How'd you get your first client that paid you 5 figures? And like, what niche were they in, if you don't mind sharing? How'd you secure that and know that that was going to be a good opportunity? Yeah,
so they were in trading. I had a couple of bad clients before that.
What was wrong with the bad ones? Like what?
I mean, I know now that they were never going to make money in and of itself because they didn't target the right people. They were making content to like entertain people and stuff like that. They had no equity in that, meaning they had no interest in people that would actually buy from them or pay them 4 figures plus. So, and I kind of fell into the trap like, okay, anybody who has a little bit of an audience or something, or anybody who has a business can make money. That's actually not true. You know what I mean? It's people that actually have had results, which is something that I've learned. So bro, if you don't actually make money like you say you do, if you don't do the thing that you're actually teaching, you're actually not going to make money long term. It's kind of what I know now. So that was that. First client that I had that made me 5 figures was a trading client. That was like almost a year ago, and we completely booked the calendar full in 20 days essentially. So off of a 20-day launch, and then what I did to get that client was crazy because he was like the first big guy that I actually had. So I drove from Minnesota to Scottsdale, a 25-hour drive to have one in-person meeting with him, and the deal is history from there, bro. So, but during that time, I was taking all the sales calls and stuff like by myself. And so from that deal, I did make a lot of money because I took like 30%, but I was fucking burnt out.
And you put 10,000 miles on your car.
Yeah, exactly. I bought a new car after that. Anyways.
That's insane. So did you just have so much conviction that client was gonna hit?
Yeah.
And that's why you did it?
Yeah, and I needed it, bro. Like I wanted it so bad because after you fail for so long, you could just get so pissed off. Like I wasn't enjoying life at all, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Okay. So from there, once you kind of understood like the traits of a solid potential client, how have you gone about just securing really solid deals and getting a pretty fat rev share and helping them absolutely crush it?
Yeah, so I've told a lot of people about this, but the good spot about being in one of these businesses, and I guess the best way you can explain it is a business that has a lot of opportunity value to make a lot of money. Because if you have 30%, like I said, of $1 million, you make a lot of money. It's a big networking game. So what a lot of people don't understand in this, or like private equity, because very similar, is that you have to create resonance through people. So, I've created more resonance than some people who have like 100,000, 200,000 plus followers, simply because I understand the game. I basically treated my outbound or like outreach like a referral system. Yeah. So when I got the first client, his name is Derek and whatnot, I got in front of all of his people that he knew that are also some of my clients now. So I went out to them in person and whatnot. I showed them what we were doing for that one client. I treated it completely like a referral system in a way, and I kind of just acted bigger than I was essentially. I'm the biggest case of like faking it till you make it like you can actually find, bro.
Yeah, but I think there's an argument to like everybody who makes it at one point was sort of faking it, but like that doesn't even mean that you're faking it. Just you're becoming the next version of yourself.
Because I had the conviction that we were going to do it. So, and I was building everything around me and taking on a lot of expenses because I knew we were going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, who else is going to drive across the country to get a fucking coffee with someone?
Yeah, real talk.
You know, like
that's still crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many clients are you working with right now?
We're working with I just cut off a bunch of ones.
The smaller ones?
The smaller ones, yeah. I'm focusing on the 80-20. Before that, we were working with about 9. I have a couple of consulting deals, but Done For You is 9. Now we're doing about 4. So. Yeah, and I'm really excited to just work on the 4.
Yeah.
Because, one of the benefits of like having like this money now, and like if you keep going in business, you actually have leverage, is I don't have to deal with those people anymore.
Yeah. And were most of those, of the 9, were they mostly through this referral system that you referred to?
Yeah. Also, some of them came to me because we actually do solid stuff. Like every single client that we signed on, I mean, a lot of people have seen like my SOPs. I documented everything to make the next client easier and to make the next process easier, because if we churn through a lot of guys and stuff like that, a bunch of stuff falls apart. I have to handle a lot of stuff. So a bunch of them came to me as well.
On the topic of SOPs, I was talking to Kishan because he was helping with the sales side.
Drop Kishan's name.
Yeah, he told me that everything that all the documents that you guys had and all the SOPs, that you're like the most organized person that he's ever met, and you are just incredibly structured and you have systems and templates for everything. So I guess starting there, how did you like start to learn how to build those kinds of systems and make it simple and like a repeatable process with new clients?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is I'm really obsessed with business in general and like the long-term play of it. I'm actually pretty scared of like falling short like a lot of these other guys do. You know what I mean? Especially in the info product space, a lot of them fall short. And I think the biggest thing is a lot of my clients were talking to me like I was an actual business. They were calling me by my business's name, but we didn't have a lot of SOPs in place. And I've heard horror stories of guys like actually not treating themselves like real businesses. And I was like, okay, because a couple of our clients, like before, like when I was just starting, told us how we were unorganized and whatnot. And I don't take stuff like that lightly. I want to be the best, you know what I mean? So I wanted to treat this like an actual real business and whatnot. So every single time we had a failure or we had like an opposition, I created an SOP to do it. So like when we're bringing new people on, I have a whole template for like creating the appointment setter scripts, the closer scripts, the VSL. It can be done in a day. You know what I mean? I mocked out all of this stuff. Some of you guys have seen it in the group. I've mocked out all of the stuff that we did for the launch, every single Instagram story, every single email that we did.
Yep.
And it's just like copy and paste, because now I know that one of the things also I did to really close people fast, this goes into it, was for everyone we didn't take money up front. In fact, for a lot of people we didn't take money up front. And so I told those guys, I'm like, okay, if we're not going to take money up front, we need to go really fast because I want to make money and whatnot. So if I'm going to make money as fast as possible, it needs to just be done as fast as possible. You know what I mean?
So before the launch with Q, what was your biggest client success prior to that one? Prior to this new launch?
We had one client that pretty much just made like $500K in 45 days, essentially. So I still made a good amount of money off that. Like I made 45K for myself.
Awesome.
So
that was last month?
Last month, yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so let's talk about like you first, how you signed this guy as a client.
Yeah.
Because that was really smart of you, the way that you structured that.
Yeah.
And then how you planned out the launch and absolutely crushed it and you know, made it very fruitful for both of you.
Yeah, so I have a lot to talk about this. I knew this was going to be huge, so I like double prepared more than like I usually do. So instead of like a 15-day launch, we planned it out for 30 days. And I'm like, so like when I look at everything, the good thing about this is I know like one client can change your life, and this client genuinely changed my life in a way that I can't even fucking comprehend, bro. So I basically said, okay, let's just front load literally everything. So instead of just launching in 15 days, a couple of Instagram stories, a couple of emails, I had him record like 2 webinars and whatnot, and we promoted the wait list, and we just built a ton of FOMO like up front for the people that, and luckily for this guy, like he already had a pretty solid,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
He was really experienced, really solid audience.
Pretty solid base. So a couple of it is just coming in at the exact right time, but also building a ton of pain in people that were getting this. So
yeah.
I already know what they needed, but for example, one of the things that we did is we packed everyone into this Telegram group and whatnot, and I pretty much just preached like, yo, 50 spots, we're closing after 50 spots, like nobody's gonna get in after that. And people were like crying, and basically after that, we filled the 1-to-1 spots, which was like 35 spots in 2 days essentially. It was a 12.5K offer. So you can just imagine.
Insane. So leading up to the launch, were you pushing the Telegram group on Instagram stories? And like, were you collecting emails and sending emails as well? Or
we were. One of the things that we do is we do like an extensive wait list. And I ask a ton of questions on that wait list. And it gives us a bunch of market research points. And then everyone gets into the Telegram group. We're out here pushing a bunch of case studies and whatnot. One of the things that we got really lucky on is he recorded like 2 live trading kind of webinar things, and there was a bunch of people in the comments who made a bunch of money off of that. And one of the things too, the reason why I partnered with Kishan was because he made like $4 million prior with one of the offers that he did that was similar to the niche. And so when he was on, he was kind of throwing fire on my ass because he was talking about his numbers, and I'm like, bro, I want to get to those numbers.
You want to beat it.
Yeah, he's gonna hold me to a high standard or whatnot, and that's exactly why I brought him on. And that's exactly why I went harder too, because I didn't want him to, I'll just be blunt, I didn't want him to see me as a kind of like a beginner as well. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Because yeah, but yeah, we had a ton of leverage with that. So we front loaded and the good thing with Q is he made like 500K off of like one trade, and he documented the whole thing. So when you have results like that, bro, people are going to buy.
Yeah. How many people did you get into the Telegram?
We got about like 10K.
That's awesome. That's like a month of pushing it.
Yeah, and if we just what's it called? We added a lot of barrier to like entry and whatnot. So if we would have just opened up the Telegram for everyone, we would have gotten like 50K in there. But we added a Telegram with a ton of questions, so we know.
Got it. So like there was a type form prior to it, and that would financially qualify them?
Yeah, it wouldn't have any like logic on it that DQ'd a bunch of people, but we asked like, how long have you been trading for? What's the biggest thing you want to see in this program? So like when we know what they want, because people are writing paragraphs and stuff, we can hit those exact pain points. You know what I mean? And we can shit on everyone else.
So it's just because you had the type form there, that was enough friction to where like somebody who isn't serious isn't going to fill it out and join. Yeah,
like if you look at the drop off, we had like 30,000 people drop off on the one.
Got it. And that's what you wanted?
Yeah, that's what we wanted.
Okay. Yeah. And then for that month leading up to the actual launch, you're just hitting them with basically propaganda, what you want them to believe.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
social proof.
And we hit everything with that. So he
Yeah.
has like another group with like 10,000 people, a Facebook group. And what I told him prior to it is I was like, one of the biggest things that we have is I handle both the marketing and the sales department, right? So I control that. So whatever I say goes, or whatever Kitchen says go, everyone a part of my team. So everyone can be aligned. I don't do any fancy stuff when it comes to marketing or anything like that. I'm just like, bro, whatever channel we have, we're just gonna promote our thing on there. Like, we're not gonna do any YouTube strategy, any email strategy, nothing like that. I just want the most volume in place. And so we promoted in the Facebook group and everything, and we completely maxed it out, and we use real urgency and whatnot. You have a big benefit when you can actually use real urgency instead of fake urgency.
100%. Yeah.
So because when spots genuinely filled up, this is the first time, by the way, spots have genuinely filled up in one of the programs. I've always had to use fake urgency.
Yeah.
Whenever we open it, we basically, what's it called? It fills up again.
Yeah. So did you do like a pre-sale, or how many? What was the offer? I know you had one-on-one for 12.5, and then you had a downsell as well. And then did you do like pre-sale, they get in at a different price, or how'd you like structure the guidelines?
Yeah, so Q came at the perfect time because it's when I've already launched 5 different trading offers and made 6 figures plus with those. Well, made them 6 figures plus, not me, right? So I knew exactly how to sell these people. So no, we didn't do any pre-sales, but all the setters that were coming in were basically indoctrinating the people that were coming in saying like, hey, we're not doing pre-sales, but you can get an early spot by putting down a deposit. Spots are going to fill up in like the first day. And some people can't find spots in the calendar, so people are booking like 20 days out. Yeah, spots are going to fill up. So we only have PIFs, by the way, who are on the one-to-ones. Like
you only accept
this is the craziest thing too. Like, for anybody that's struggling with an offer right now, for this one, we had to, because some people put down deposits and their spots were held, we basically took somebody who wanted to, even when spots were filled up, somebody that wanted to pay 12.5K, we got the deposit of the program, just filled it up again.
Oh, wow.
So it's not like people are paying like $1,000 a month for the, you know what I mean?
Right. Offer goes live, you push it, I imagine on his Instagram story, in the Telegram, in the Facebook group. Did he have an audience anywhere else, or was those the main 3?
200,000 on YouTube. By the way, we replaced all of the links, so he's not going crazy with all these offers because before he just had a bunch of these different courses and whatnot, stuff like the WAP model, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just one link under all of his videos now. We replaced all of those. I did a lot more work on the launch side with his, so I don't usually do this, but I made him create like a reel, a couple of them, like an Instagram reel dedicated to this program alone and talking about the actual date, so treating it like a movie trailer. If you look at how Belmar launched his Capital Club, that's exactly what it looked like. So what that allowed us to do is when people were filling the spots up, we told them to post the spots on their story saying like 1 out of 35, 2 out of 35. And we were just reposting all those. People were getting crazy FOMO.
That's sick. You're FOMOing the fuck out of people, huh?
Me and Kishan are just laughing to the bank, bro.
Okay, so everything goes live. You're pushing on all platforms. How much did you make in the first day?
First day we made like 250.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, bro.
How many calls were on the calendar?
Like we dude, we booked like 1,500 the first day.
1,500 calls?
Yeah, bro. And we're using Logic. Like.
And these were qualified, like.
Yeah, well, some of them needed payment plans or whatever, so we asked that. We know who needs payment plans and whatnot, but yeah, people that don't go, that say 0 though, is they're not booking on the calendar. So we did this to the T, right, bro?
Yeah.
So
250 first day.
Yeah.
And then how many did you fill up, like all the spots? Like how many spots did you fill
we did.
up?
And we had 35, right? So, and we probably have like 37 in there because we made some compromises. So dude, to be honest, I wish we could fill up more because there are people that want to buy. Because the problem that we had was some people, I want the one-to-ones.
I mean, it's better though. It's better that you actually close it because when it opens again, you'll fill it up again.
Exactly. But we had to transition really fast to selling like a $7,500 program.
And that's group coaching?
Group coaching, and we had to build value in that as well, but it still sells. So that's the benefit of having like Kishan in there, because you don't just want to make I told Kishan, bro, because to be honest, I told you this yesterday, I don't really care that we made a bunch of money on launch. I want to do it long term, because how sick would it be to bring in 204K like a month, you know what I mean? Yeah. Instead of just off the launch. And that probably would have happened if I didn't have a good sales team in there where I didn't have to focus on it. Yeah. So yeah, we were able to adapt, and now we're still selling.
Okay, day 2, how much you make?
We made like 190.
Day 3?
And then we're hitting like 150. And then from there on, it's pretty much just like 120, 100, near just 6 figures the whole day. And the Walt posted our shit, bro.
Yeah, I saw. Okay, so this launched how many days ago?
It launched on the 28th. Yeah.
And you're at what in cash collected?
We're at like 920.
And today's April 7th.
Yeah.
And you've collected just like, you'll probably hit $1 million either today or tomorrow.
Yeah, and we have a ton of people who are waiting on some financing, and those people we would have been at at $1 million too, maybe.
You're disappointed.
I mean, here's one thing too. We set the expectation. That's one of the best things. So, you know, the sales manager is out here saying like, oh yeah, bro, we made 4 mil in like 5 days with his. I'm setting that as the expectation. So I'm like, okay, I want to make 3 mil. So it does kind of feel like, you know what I mean? We want to make this. I am really going after that goal, bro.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your plan to keep pushing it and hit 2 or 3 mil?
Yeah, I'm hiring a copywriter. He's going to be writing out some more content. Shout out Artisan Lab.
Yeah, where are you hiring him from?
Shout out Artisan Lab. Very good way to hire people, bro.
Totally.
The dude that reviews copy, I think so I'm doing a business play there.
Perfect.
That's one of the things I'm really excited about business, just off track, is like hiring the right people, bro.
Yeah.
And putting them in the agency and whatnot, and having leverage to do that. But yeah, I'm having him, like, we're gonna run ads, and we're also going to have the copywriter write out some reels for them and build a content machine around that. Cause I don't want to shorten it off, bro. It just sucks when it shortens off.
Yeah. So back to this launch, you've gotten one payout from the client so far.
Yeah.
And how much have they paid you out so far?
They paid us almost $205,000.
That's insane. Is that the biggest wire you've ever gotten?
It's for 6 days, because think about it. Yes, it is. Yeah. Think about it. We launched on the 28th, and he was like, you know, he's rich, so he's like, okay, I can just pay you guys for March, just so we have a consistent statement balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. And
so
obviously,
April is gonna be wild.
That includes like sales team, so a good chunk of it is profit.
Yeah.
And so last 30 days net total profit for you, around 200.
Yeah, essentially.
Fucking awesome, bro.
It's crazy.
And that's
bro.
with him and then your other clients as well.
Yeah.
That's insane. Okay, so I think for you to keep scaling with this guy, I mean, first it just sounds like you found him at the perfect time. It's the perfect offer.
It's the perfect time, yeah.
I think the way that you're gonna like continue to keep it fresh is because that tends to happen. You have a big launch and then it dies out and just like slowly starts dying.
Yeah.
One, obviously he has to keep posting content, but two, I think you guys could crush on Webbies. Like you just have to keep it feeling new.
Yeah.
And if towards the end of the month you're a bit short on that $3 million goal, spin up a Webby and I think
go crazy.
That'll help you get there.
That's where the skills come in, bro. Like figuring out how to actually develop more interest just off the launch.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what was it like coordinating everything for the launch? Like how much were you working? Was it more you like making sure everybody's pulling the right levers and doing what they need to do? Or like were you behind the scenes, the one writing copy and like, you know, talking to the closers every day and all that?
No, I specifically told the sales manager, I'm like, yo, I only want to hire you because I don't want to even touch sales. Really, I still do touch sales because I'm really used to it, and I still do talk to those guys. Like I got some crypto links for them and stuff like that. And I coordinated our frameworks because I want to be in control of everything. But it's really good having somebody that's better than you. Because what I needed somebody that was actually better than me at sales.
Yeah.
To handle that part. So, but me documenting everything and having an SOP for everything allowed me to just copy a lot of things over. Whatever Q told me, because I just ask him a bunch of questions so I know his offer, I can just plug that into the VSL and just make sure he does it and whatnot. And then, yeah, I was working a lot because we had to fix a bunch of fires. So during that launch, I was working for like 17 hours a day, plus just off like Q's offer.
That's insane.
Because I had to write a bunch of stuff. We had to prepare a bunch of stuff like that. So.
How are you managing your other clients when you do a big launch like this? Like, how are you making sure that they're still getting enough attention, things are still going smoothly?
Yeah, I have another sales manager for those guys as well. Like I said, we handle the sales. I have a bunch of emails that like we bring out. That's one of the reasons I'm hiring copywriter, because I need more leverage in that. I still do most of the marketing for that, if not all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of them are running ads, so we're pretty cracked at ads. And as you know, as ads just keep spending and whatnot, we haven't had to change up creatives a bunch of times. So it is a little bit automated, but yeah, that's how I'm doing it.
Awesome.
That's why I work so much, to be honest. I mean, once I get more people in, I won't have to work so much, and I can just focus more on high leverage tasks. One of the biggest high leverage tasks for me is flying out to meet more clients. So, and that's one thing I'm willing to do, bro.
Yeah. So you just want to work with bigger and better clients.
Yeah, focus on the 80-20 because then I actually have, then I can say no to people. And when you say no to people, they actually make you bend. So for example, my client signed a renewal, and before that, I was really reliant on his payments to make a lot of money. We made good money with him during like the first month, but I told him, I'm like, yo, bro, I don't want to work with you if you're not at least willing to spend like $1,000 a day on ads, because that's the only way that we're gonna make money. And if you pay your invoices on time, because there was sometimes I was like at a net loss because there wasn't a lot of respect there. You know what I mean? Now I have respect because we've made a mil plus a launch, and I can basically hold that. So
yeah.
Why
do you think you're able to get such good results with your clients? Like both, I think there's two things that go into that. One is identifying the right clients. So like, what is it about them that makes them bangers for you?
Yeah.
And then what are the biggest levers that you're pulling on the fulfillment side that gives you that repeatable process?
Yeah. So it's like, part of it is understanding really like psychology in general, So I know pretty much trading pain to a T right now, and what people actually want, what people don't want. The second part is being able to pit our offer against other people. So really like throw rocks your enemy, if you're talking about like Russell Brunson, stuff like that. And really the third thing is, so I documented like the minimum of what actually needs to happen. So like the minimum viable output, or whatever you want to call it. And I just doubled down on that. So we did way more for Q than I did for anybody, because I genuinely had millions on my mind, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had him post like a ton of content and whatnot, and we waited way longer to make money, and it actually worked. So I know exactly how things are going to go. And by the way, like our systems are repeatable now. That's one of the things I didn't have in the other agency. Nothing was repeatable. I didn't actually know how things were going to go. So that's why I wanted to do it, because ADHD paradise, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So once you had that system, and then when you go looking for more clients, are you specifically working with mainly the trading niche right now?
No, that's just kind of how it pitted out. So anybody who has opportunity value, honestly. I really only want to work with clients that could hit $1 million a month, and that also allows me to be like, hey, I can be honest with people. So if somebody isn't obviously going, because everyone has false expectations, bro. If somebody isn't going to make $1 million a month off just like organic and whatnot, I'm going to tell them, hey, you're going to need to spend at least like, let's say $200K a month to hit $1 million a month. You can make a bit of money off of organic, stuff like that. I have the ability to say that. So I only want to work with people that make other people money, I'd say. I don't really like working with fitness offers, stuff like that. Trading has been really good, but if there's opportunity value. Right now I'm working with a couple of publicly traded companies. So I get as well. So one of the things that, I know I'm going a little bit off track, but one of the things that I took, and this business, by the way, gives you the opportunity to really, really network, because some of the guys I work with, like Q and whatnot, they own businesses that make millions of dollars. So what they actually did is they saw me doing so well, giving them so much, making them so much money. They actually put me in our system into their businesses. So I can't say names because I'm like under an NDA and whatnot, but they put our systems into like a 9-figure business that they run, a prop firm essentially, and we have equity in that business now. That's why people shit on me when I say I run a private equity company, but it's real, bro.
On the info side, if you could like define opportunity value when it comes to clients as clearly as possible, like what are those traits that you're looking for, and what are potential red flags that you might see? Yeah,
so obviously like having like undeniable results. I mean, for the guy who just like Q, nobody's doubting that he doesn't make money trading. If you do, you're kind of dumb. For some of my other clients, yeah, maybe, like, you know what I mean? Sometimes no. And also just the ability to stay consistent. So that is one of the benefits that we had. This dude's posting on his story like 15 times a day. I had to stop him from doing that and whatnot.
Yeah, but that's a good problem.
It's a good problem, yeah. And having a super humble personality like he has as well, not having a superiority complex or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's a great A client. I worked with a ton of people, bro, during the beginning, where we had to do everything and they weren't hopping on calls and stuff. We had a bunch of chargebacks.
Yeah, like they weren't good at what they actually were teaching, so their fulfillment sucked.
And then I felt like shit.
What about on the audience size? Like I know Q specifically has a huge audience, but have you worked with other clients that like it kind of surprised you because they didn't have a huge audience and they still printed?
I worked with one guy with 2,000 followers in like the real estate space, and he genuinely made a lot of money doing it super micro, right? I'm about to cook up another offer, which I'll talk about, but he made like 75K in like the first month, We didn't continue because he wasn't a good operator and whatnot, but that surprised me, bro.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, 2,000 followers. You're like,
he had a Facebook group, like, so he had a Facebook community. It was very high ticket. One of the other things as well is we're about to start working with this guy that all of us in the info side locally know. It's going to be entirely paid ads, so he doesn't have a crazy big audience. You'll know once I tell you after the pod and whatnot. I think he's going to print because he's willing to spend a lot of money on ads as well. So.
Fire.
Any young guys, bro. I think young guys who are running it up, like we know a few guys who are pretty young because like a lot of my clients are in their 30s plus and whatnot, are really going to print these next few months. So that's what I'm doing.
They just have to post consistently. Like if you have to get on a client for not posting, like then it's just cooked.
It sucks, bro. I thought I was a bad business owner when like some of my offers are falling apart because I thought it was my fault, but it was genuinely that there wasn't enough traffic coming in. And when you look at it, it's how every business operates, so I had to learn that.
Right, like you can be the best marketer in the world. It doesn't matter if somebody can't get traffic, and like if your job's the back end, you can write the best emails, you can have the VSL, best webinar ever. If 3 people show up to the webinar, you're not making money.
Yeah.
2, I think being in the trading niche has helped you too, and like also being very particular with who you'll work with in that niche, because there's a lot of trading gurus. Most of them are unprofitable, you know, but you've picked the good ones. And trading is like, for whatever reason, this widely accepted wealth creation vehicle. So you're kind of capitalizing on that trend. Like I think AI, trading, and real estate right now are 3 like AI because it's new and everybody's talking about it. Trading because it's widely accepted, and then the same with real estate. It's like that's how you build wealth. You know, people have been telling you that since the day you came out of the womb. So I just think you've done a really good job of getting the right clients, and then you are obviously able to speak with confidence and clarity, and you show that you're competent. And then that's why, like, that's what separates you more so than the skill. Because like I think I'm a good marketer, but I'm a really good marketer when you give me a really good personal brand. You know? I'm like
exactly, bro.
Marginally better than somebody else who, you know, might be newer to the space, but I can get that client because I'm the one that can like articulate, okay, here are the levers that need to be pulled, here's what needs to happen. I think you have that same kind of hidden skill.
And I mean, Q genuinely trades, bro, and he actually makes real profit. So you can act like you know, you can come from a facet of where you're dumb if you don't buy, because this can actually get you to where you need to go. And what we did with this launch differently is I touted a ton of case studies and ton of like people making 15K with this trade, people making this, that, and the third, and we basically just hammered people with results and whatnot. And when people get hammered with results, and they get a bunch of fun while they buy, you know what I mean?
So $920,000 in less than 10 days, huh?
A mil. We can say a mil.
And you're pissed off.
Because Klarna kind of fucked us, bro.
Really?
Yeah. Klarna's been messing with everyone, so a couple of things, because we would have been at like 1-2, so
yeah.
Okay.
Last question for you. I guess second to last question. I guess first with Q and then with your other clients, like what's your kind of plan to keep scaling from here? I know you want to get bigger and better clients, but you know, what does that look like? And then we'll start there.
Well, I need cash flow is like the biggest thing. So like we can make all this money off the launch, but what happens if we make 50K the next month, which is just smaller? And 50K would still be nice, but it goes back down, you know what I mean? So I'm really, really just focused on cash flow and really focused on hiring the right people. Because if I can just have like 7-figure operators in my business. Also, I've done a really good job at, people know my business name when they come in essentially. So all of my clients talk to me, they say T5, that's my business name essentially. And so people know me as that. That's how I got into other deals. The other thing too is I've done really well at licensing my systems and whatnot. So after I basically just showed the results, I told you this, I sold like 2 15K deals just on how to license the systems. So if that blows up and some of the personal brand blows up, I'll go harder on that essentially. And then eventually, you know, you're working with just like portfolio clients that are each making you like 100, 200K a month essentially. Like if we pull the right levers, we could easily make 200K every single month with Q and whatnot. You know what I mean? I agree.
Last question. This one's selfish. Would you recommend joining Artisan Lab?
Yes. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. And the reason was, so I joined back in like July, right? It's exactly what I said. So I think the biggest benefit I got from joining is like you were actually running it up with clients. You were making it easy. So as much as that pissed me off and whatnot, it held me to a higher standard, just like I said with Kitchen and whatnot, because you've genuinely done bigger numbers. There wasn't faking it to any of that, and you actually have like personality with it as well, which is kind of how I want to be as a business owner. So it's very important to get the right systems to do it. So Artisan Lab, definitely, bro. Yeah.
You're the man.
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest takeaway from Artisan Lab, or just like investing in coaching in general as well?
Well, it like it holds you to a standard, right? So
yeah,
I mean, during that time, I did put like Artisan Lab on a credit card. You know what I mean? So like anytime
that's crazy. That's crazy, bro. You just got a $200,000 wire.
Yeah.
And less than a year ago, you had to put $2,000 because you split paid, right?
Shout out Double Ben, bro. Double B.
You had to put $2,000 on a credit card.
Yeah.
And now you're getting $200,000 wires.
Yeah, because I was in debt then, bro. Like, yeah.
It's insane.
I told you that. Yeah, so I genuinely took the risk on myself. But I got a dopamine hit when I bought, because I knew I was learning from like the right person and whatnot. You know what I mean? So so investing in coaching holds you to like this standard where you know you have to do it. So anytime that I invest in myself, I actually have respect for my money and whatnot, because I worked so hard for it. I'm gonna use it, and you know, I genuinely got real value after. So I've paid for coaching where they didn't really give a fuck. I've genuinely gotten real value from your stuff, bro. Like,
you're the man.
Yeah, yeah.
Jace, thank you, brother.
Man.
Ladies and gentlemen, like, subscribe, comment, share this with your grandmother. See you in the next one. Peace.